there is due diligence. This is very important. Probably all of you have heard of this term, due diligence. And when I see law students often don't know what due diligence is. But due diligence is basically when you are buying a company, right? You want to understand what actually you're buying into. How many of you have seen this series called Silicon Valley? Anybody watch this series called Silicon Valley? Yeah. Anybody watched Silicon Valley? I'm like trying to see the chat. Who has seen Silicon Valley? Yes, so Mehraj Sheikh has seen Silicon Valley, right? Anybody else? How many of you have seen Silicon Valley? Just type yes in the chat. You can type no if you haven't seen. That's okay. Only one person has seen Silicon Valley, the series. It's really cool. Okay, you should see it. Okay, if you are going to be even a lawyer or interested in investment startups, you should watch this series. It's quite. They have a lot of legal issues covered there in that series. So anyway, so there is one scene that happens in that series. Okay, so there is this company called Pied Piper, and they have this very big guy who wants to beat this company, and they have a big company called Hulu, I think. Yeah. So they want to make this small startup fail, and what they do is that they one day they get a chance to buy this company at a low price, and they just buy this big company just buys the small company Pied Piper, and Pied Piper wanted to sell because there was a huge fine they had to pay because they made some mistake, and basically they made a software, and software was getting used by a lot of pedophiles. Okay, online pedophiles, anonymous. They were using this platform to connect with kids, and they forgot to insert a certain disclaimer. So it's a law according to that. I don't know the law what is in California, but according to that thing, there is a law in California that if you have to insert a certain disclaimer that making sure that kids cannot sign up on the platform, otherwise you become liable for a huge amount of money if such thing happens. And they had not done it, so amount of money, and it causes, and then the company knew about it, but they wanted to shut down the company, and that time this big company thinks that, okay, these people seem to be wanting to sell their company, so let me buy it at a cheap price now. And they buy it without a due diligence, right? And what happens is that later on they find out that there is this kind of thing has happened, so they get hit with some hundreds of $1 million of fine. So the big company, although it's a billions of dollars company, they get hit with like hundreds of $1 million of fine from the regulator. So this can actually happen. So if you are buying a company, you want to know that have they violated any tax laws? Have they violated any license requirements? Do they actually have a license to carry out the business? Are there any cases filed against them by customers, by competitors, by anybody, right? Are there any issues with regulators? Now, why are these things important? These things are very, very important because if you are going to actually be in business with someone and you're going to buy their business and run it certain price, let's say you decide that XYZ company for $1 million. It is based on some commercials that, okay, they have this much revenue per year, they are going to make so much profits over the next few years and so on. But all that calculation will go bad. Imagine if they don't have a proper license, and the license, they have violated the license conditions and it may get cancelled. So the entire business will fail. So all of your money that you're spending to buy this company will get wasted. Or let's say they have violated some copyright or trademark of some competitor, and tomorrow the competitor will come and take away all your profits when they win a case or gets an order from the court. So there can be such issues, right? So before buying any company, it is buying a company or even investing in a company for that matter, investors and buyers, acquirers, they'll always do a due diligence saying that, okay, let's see in a very detail, what are the contracts this company has entered into? What laws they are supposed to comply with? Are they actually complying? If they are not compliant, very often there are some problems are found, right? So when those problems are found, then the answer is that, are you going to fix it? How are you going to fix it? What can be fixed before the transaction happens? So I'm going to, let's say, buy the company for 1 million. So I'll tell them that, okay, we will do these things. We will buy your company, but before that, you go and fix these things, right? So they might be able to fix some of those things quickly. Some things may not be fixable on a short notice. So then you might tell them that, okay, you give me in the agreement that we'll sign, we'll write that, okay, you give me a warranty, or you give me a certain representations. So if, warranty that, if this thing does not happen, then we suffer a loss because of it, then you will be compensating us for that loss. So these kind of things are done. So due diligence is very, very important step. And usually the youngest lawyers are asked to do due diligence. So first year lawyers, second year lawyers are spending a lot of time doing due diligence. So you need to know, if you want to impress and you are just an intern, you want to impress the associates. If you do great work for the due diligence, you can actually help the team in a due diligence they are doing. And it's a lot of paperwork. So if you're able to do it, you can help them. They'll be really appreciating that, and your work will be appreciated. Out of the due diligence, a due diligence report is prepared, which is given to everyone, like, the investor, acquirer, the other side, everyone gets the due diligence report, and then it is used during negotiations a lot. Like all the due diligence issues that are found, there may be red flag issues because of which the entire action is called off sometimes. Okay, that is, but you want the deal to actually happen. But to make the deal happen, you have to see how to protect your client, right? So due diligence is a very important step for that. Anybody has any question at this point, please? Then please tell me. If you have a question at this point, please tell me. Did it make sense to you? I have covered two things so far, due diligence and also deal structuring. If you have a question, you can ask me in the chat. Any questions at this point? You can write all clear if you understood. If you have a question, you can type it. So I will know that you are with me and what is going on. That will help me to understand. There are 40 of you right now. So please, if you're clear, just write clear. Okay. Omkar, do the technical stuff is clarified under due diligence? So due diligence is a technical exercise, right? Because you have to see. So you have to see the contracts. You have to say, for example, is the contract enforceable? Is there any indemnity clause under it which can create a problem? Is the stamp duty paid? Is it registered? For example, if it is a agreement with respect to some property and it is not registered, then it may not be enforceable. It is under Section 17 of Registration Act. It is a mandatory registrable document, and so on. You have to check all that and write that in your report. And it is a very technical thing. You have to prepare based on technicalities and legalities and compliances. You prepare this report. Due diligence only means compilation of laws and regulations. No, due diligence is not a compilation of laws and regulations. Due diligence is you prepare a laws and regulation the company is supposed to follow. That is one part of it, yes. There are other things also. You see all their regulatory filings, you see all their contracts, but what you're trying to see is that the person who's putting in their money, are they at any risk? Are there any problems that can be arising later on, right? So due diligence report that you prepare is not a compilation of laws and regulations. It's a compilation of the issues you write that, okay, in IP, there's a chapter, let's say there's a chapter IP, there's a chapter contracts, there is a chapter labor and employment issues, there's a chapter real estate and all of that. Then there's a chapter that licenses, right? So in the licenses chapter, you will write, okay, these are the licenses needed by the company, these are the license it have, maybe this license has expired, this can be an issue, and without a license, if they do this, then there can be this and this consequences, this kind of fines, this kind of issues. Can there be an impact on business continuity? So that is under license. Then you also see, okay, loans and finances. So you go into there, do they have any loans? Are all the loans properly reported to MCA? Are any charges created on any property? What is the status? Are there any defaults? Are there any litigations? Everything. So you will be writing down exactly what is going on there. Right? So So all different areas of the business, different aspects are there, and each one you look at it and you will identify any issues are there. If issues are not there, you write that this is all fine. This is where the issue is there or not there, whatever. Right? And you might recommend some actions that these are the actions we are recommending based on our reading, or based on the documents we have seen, or based on the risks we can see. These are the risks, and this is how the risk can be mitigated or minimized or so on, right? Are M&A transactions called off if any issues arises in due diligence? So there are different kind of issues that can be found. Almost in all due diligence, there will be some problems will be found. That doesn't mean you call off the transaction. But if there's a very serious issue, which means that the investment is a very bad idea. So for example, let's say it's a telecom company, and you find out that after doing due diligence that their spectrum allocation seems to be problematic. There is some problem, or their spectrum may get cancelled, or their license to operate as a telecom operator may get cancelled. Then you may not want to invest. That is a red flag issue. Okay, or it can be that okay, this company has so many litigations that, you know, or so much of finance loans or whatever that they are not disclosing, they are trying to hide it or something like that, or there is some massive corruption issues seem to be there, which can tomorrow come back and, like, you know, really jeopardize the entire project. That kind of situation, investor may decide, or it is a decision of the investor or the whoever, that, you know, it is not safe to invest in this company. But small issues will be there, some small violation somewhere or something that got missed out. In India, there are so many compliances. To find a company which is 100% compliant is very hard. But your job is to find out exactly how much is the risk. Okay, so it can be that there is a violation, because of this the company will suffer a loss of 1 lakh rupees. Now this is not good enough reason, or there's a litigation. If the litigation we lose and it looks like we are going to lose, then we will lose 10 lakh rupees. Now it is not a good enough reason for the investment to stop or acquisition to stop, right? So then you might take a indemnity from the other side that okay, if this happens, then the founders or the promoter or whoever, the promoters will give 10 lakh rupees to the investor or to the company or whatever, right? So that is okay. You may see that okay, this company has not paid taxes worth 1 crore, right? So now your investment amount is 10 crores. Then you will tell them, okay, we are investing, but this 1 crore you'll have to pay. Or if the tax department claims whatever happens, then you have to give a bank guarantee or something, that, you know, some way to make sure that 1 crore is not lost. Or you will reduce your valuation. You will say, instead of buying this company for 10 crores, we will buy it for 9.5 crores or 9.3 crores. So you get a discount because of this kind of thing which is there, right? So it's all like that mostly. So I hope now you understood. Would there be a case that investor does DD and after doing DD the investor decides otherwise, decide not to invest in the company? Yeah, this happens all the time, right? After doing due diligence, they may realize that no, not a good idea to invest, and they may back out at that point. Happens a lot. Okay, but generally, as lawyers, we don't want the deal to fall through, because if the deal falls through, then we will suffer. What about confidentiality? So this is all confidential. So all this information that you're giving to the other side is confidentiality, covered by a confidentiality clause, which will be there. You will sign a letter of intent, or you will sign some kind of a term sheet. After that, only due diligence starts. And in that, it will be written that you have this protection. All these things are confidential, because these are all very detailed confidential data. Okay.